Hello, it's Sean Moran here, and today I've brought my microphone out onto the street. I'm here to talk about Aristotle, and Aristotle was a peripatetic philosopher. Peripatetic means walking about. So what better way to talk about Aristotle than walking about? Except he used to walk about in the beautiful sunshine of Athens in Greece. I'm walking about on a rather overcast day in Clonmel in County Tipperary in Ireland. I'm hoping to canvass the opinions of a few passers-by about teachers and what virtues a good teacher would have. Now, Aristotle's big claim to fame, I suppose, is his treatment of the virtues. There are four key virtues in the Greek scheme: courage, justice, practical wisdom, and temperance. Temperance means sort of moderation, trying to hit a happy medium, neither too much nor too little. There are those who think that out of Aristotle's virtues, practical wisdom is the key one for a teacher. A teacher needs phronesis, practical wisdom. It enables them to do the right thing for their students and for themselves. See, one great advantage of the virtue approach to the philosophy of education is it's good for the teacher as well as being good for the learners. So the good life to the Greeks consisted of a life governed by the virtues, a life of justice, courage, practical wisdom, and moderation. That's a good life for a teacher. It's also a good life for a student. We want to encourage them to be virtuous as well as we being virtuous as teachers. There are some other subsidiary virtues that are not as important as those four. Things, for example, like philanthropia. That means benevolence. It's good to have a benevolent attitude towards our students. And there are a number of other virtues that I'll talk about later. But first, let's see if I can find the views of one of the citizens of Clonmel about what is a good teacher and what virtues should they have. Let's have a little walk around and see who I can find. Well, I'm just coming up to probably the best coffee shop in Clonmel. This is No Filter Specialist Coffee. Let's just see who's in here. Maybe I can interview somebody in the coffee shop. So I'm in Clonmel's best coffee shop. You'd agree with me there, Graham, would you?
I would, actually, yeah.
And Graham is the proprietor. Graham's here with his fiancée, Susan. Graham, what would you consider to be the characteristics of a good teacher?
A good teacher shouldn't assume knowledge on the part of the student. They should go from as if they should act as if the person has no knowledge whatsoever, and that should be their starting point, and explain everything right from ABC.
Okay, that's knowledge. What about their personal characteristics? What sort of person should they be?
I suppose they should be able to convey material and be attentive to the students' needs as well, and pick up on the body language and whether the recipient is understanding the information that they're giving or not, so they should be able to adapt to each individual student and find another way of conveying it if the original way isn't working.
Okay, I get you. Now, your emphasis there has been on knowledge. Is there more to a teacher than just conveying knowledge, would you say?
I think the teacher has to be someone that you would respect, that has the experience, and who can lead by example as well, not just someone who says, do as I do, do as I say. It should be do as I do. That's what I think.
That's fantastic. Thanks very much. And any particular qualities that they should have? Any virtues?
They should care about their students. They should be conscientious.
When you say care?
You should care about what you're doing. You should do 100% in whatever you're doing. So if you're going to be a teacher, you should do that with 100% conscientiousness and do your absolute best to convey the material to them, and to help the person grow or learn or whatever it might be, whatever you're teaching them. Yeah.
Okay, I was interested in your idea of caring for them. Would it be true to say a teacher should be benevolent?
Ideally, yes, yeah. but you might have to be strict sometimes, or you might have to impose discipline sometimes as well. So, but ultimately that's benevolent, I think.
Graham, thanks very much. So I'm here in the streets of Clonmel, and I've just met two ladies and a baby in a buggy. Whose is the baby?
They're my kids there.
Oh, there's more than one, is there?
Two.
Oh,
Little boy and a
fantastic.
little girl.
Okay, and what's your name?
Aoife.
Aoife, I'm interested in what are the qualities that make a good teacher? What do you think?
Well, I suppose someone who's caring and has an interest in their students and what they're teaching.
You put that at number one, would you, above knowing their stuff, knowing their subject?
I suppose, yeah, because if they've no interest, then it's not going to come across their students and it won't make them want to learn then.
That's good. So a good teacher is a benevolent person. They're a nice person in your view. What's your name, sorry?
Neve.
Neve, what do you think, Neve?
I think somebody who they're going to help you outside of class as well. You know, so they're not just like, they don't just come in and once they leave the classroom, that's it. You know, they've got a bit of time for you after that.
So if they met you in Tesco, they'd say hello?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You know, you would have had teachers in the past who would like ignore you if they saw you, you know, but somebody who's friendly and like they'll give you the time of the day, you know.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for your help, you two. And the baby has a comment as well.
She's not impressed.
Sir, what's your name?
Quivin O'Toole.
And can I ask you a question?
You can, of course, yeah.
What do you think makes a good teacher?
Someone who isn't there. Basically.
Someone who isn't there.
Yeah, exactly. They take those time off, like you're entitled to more holidays for teachers. Like.
Thank you. So I'm now here in a mobile shop owned by Venkatesh. Good afternoon, Venkatesh.
Good afternoon.
Did I say your name right? How should I say it?
Venkatesh.
Okay, and what do you sell here in your shop?
Mobile phone accessories, mobile phones, repairs and all.
Okay, may I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
What do we mean by a good teacher?
Good teacher who teaches us that from childhood is my mother. Who teaches from how to walk, how to talk and all.
She was your first teacher?
Yeah. She is my first teacher.
Okay. That's very interesting. And what qualities do you think a good teacher, a school teacher or a college teacher, what qualities should they have? What kind of person should they be?
They should be politeful to the students for the college teacher, and they should be in a good manner, and they should be good knowledge for the teacher, and have to explain very clear to the students. If they didn't understand, they have to explain twice or thrice. That's their best quality.
So they have to be patient.
Yeah, 100% it should be patient. They should have more patience.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much for helping me, and good luck with your phone sales today on this miserable day, on the first day of lockdown, level 3.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, I'm here now with Mr. Lone, who has newsagents and sweet shop in Clonmel. Mr. Lone, may I come into your shop for a moment?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm asking people what makes a good teacher. In your opinion, what is a good teacher?
In my opinion, good teacher is who understand students, what they are thinking or what they needs basically. The person who reach the student's mind is called a good teacher, and I think he can teach them nicely and good way when he understand what the student's basic need is.
I see. So he can get inside their head, or he can step into their shoes. Maybe
Yeah.
he can understand what they need. That's excellent. Anything else you think that a good teacher needs?
I think good teacher have a good relation with the students, and he can teach good way.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lone.
No problem.
Cheers. So I'm here with Francis outside the Bank of Ireland in Clonmel. Francis, can I ask you a question?
You can, of course.
Could you tell me what you think makes a good teacher?
In my opinion, I think a lot of patience.
Patience, that's a virtue a teacher should have.
Yeah, a lot of patience and a lot of good communication. clear communication, and patience, and let the children speak clearly and honestly and from their heart, and just love in the classroom. I think good vibration between pupils and teacher, I think.
So would you say, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but would you say that benevolence is one of the virtues of a teacher, that they have a warm feeling towards their students?
Definitely a warm feeling towards us, especially teachers that are parents, because what they give out at home, they should give out in the classroom as well. Do you know what I mean? And warmth is everything, because once the teacher can give out warmth from her heart, the pupils give out warmth from their heart back to the teacher.
That's lovely, Francis. Thanks very much. And Aristotle said there are four key virtues. Justice is one of them, and another one is courage. Do you think justice and courage are needed in teachers?
I think definitely courage, because sometimes the classroom could be a bit hectic and they need to be calm in themselves as well, and to have the courage to say no sometimes, and to say, I'm the teacher, give respect to me, and as an adult and as an elder, of course.
Okay, and justice?
Justice, I would say, yes, justice is a very important point as well.
Being fair to all the children.
Being fair to all the children, and don't have favourites, and very equal. Treat the children as equals, in my opinion.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm so glad I bumped into you, because you've done my lesson for me. Those are wonderful answers. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Nice to see you again.
Cheers. Well, I'm back indoors now, out of the rain, which is very untypical of Ireland, of course. It hardly ever rains here. I was very happy, though, with the results we had from the general public. They seem to have a good conception of the virtuous teacher. Certainly benevolence came through quite strongly, caring for the children. That would be philanthropia. Quite an emphasis on knowledge, but also plenty of emphasis on the personal qualities, the ethical virtues of the teacher. So philanthropia came through. Phronesis was sort of there in the background. That's practical wisdom. You know, the good teacher knows what to do. They can get inside the mind of their students, as one person said. Mr. Lone, I think, said that. Also, gentleness. The chap who said quite abruptly that the good teacher is the one who isn't there. Off mic, he told me some horror stories about the way he'd been treated as a child. So perhaps gentleness is a virtue that wouldn't go amiss amongst teachers. That's praeotes in the Aristotelian scheme. Praeotes. We can translate it as good-tempered, a good-tempered teacher. So a good-tempered teacher doesn't get angry about things that you shouldn't get angry about, but neither are they a walkover. Sense of humour didn't come through much there, but I feel it's important. That would be eutropelia in the Aristotelian scheme. Eutropelia, sense of humour. Mr. Lond, the newsagent, his idea of getting into the shoes of the student was a nice idea. That would translate as sunesis in the Aristotelian scheme. It means flowing together, or sunome, S-U-N-G-N-O-M-E, sunome, which means sympathetic judgment. You're somehow empathising with your students before you intervene. A couple more virtues in the Aristotelian scheme. Kairos is one. This is timeliness. Kairos, K-A-I-R-O-S. There's an opportune moment. There's a good time. Eukairos. It's sometimes called EU, means good. So eukairos is the perfect time to intervene. We should let our students sometimes get on with things and make their own mistakes, and just intervene when we can see that it's not going well and our intervention is necessary. Intervening in a timely way is important, and for that you need kairos, the opportune moment. And finally, the virtue of prudence, sophrosony. We're in quite an exposed position in some ways as teachers, and we should be circumspect. We should be a little bit careful about what we say and what we do. It could bounce back on us, as it did with poor Socrates. He wasn't careful enough, and this cut short his career.